Hello everyone and welcome to the iCode channel. Today really exciting to introduce this new product to you guys. This is the iCode Duo Ultimate. It's the next generation of the popular iCode Duo. It's completely reimagined from the ground up and highly modernized. It's still has the dual ports in the front where you can connect your Atari devices. It supports all the Atari devices including joysticks, paddles, driving controllers, keypads, even the trackball, and even two trackballs at the same time. 4 paddles, 2 joysticks, two driving controllers as well. And it can even take your paddles and project them to multiple gamepads. So if you've got a single paddle set, which is paddles 1 and 2, and you connect them to here, it can either have them as one gamepad in the system or multiple. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But the unit uses a brand new color display, which is fantastic. And I'll show you what the display is for in a minute. It's got a built-in speaker, so you can see the speaker holes there for audio feedback. Really easy to navigate menu system. So notice here I've got a menu system, so when you push this gray button, it toggles the menu on and off. So when you go to the menu, you can toggle through things like your presets, which is different configurations that you can store in the device. Up to 10 different configurations can be stored. You can select your console that you want to support, and then for each of your ports, you can define, do you want it to be sticks and paddles, or do you want it to be paddles only, or driving controller, or trackball, and depending on what you pick, the menu options change to support that. So really easy to configure on here. But there's also a second way to configure this system without having to go through the screen at all, and that's through icodehub.icode.com, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But then, once you've got it configured, and it's pretty much configured out of the box, all these buttons are mappable, including the hat switch here, which is up, down, left, right, and press, so you can fully configure this as well. You can even use the unit as a gamepad, because the buttons can be even mapped to things like up, down, left, right directions as well as the hat switch, which are pre-done for you. There's an on-off switch on the top. It's got a USB-C port that it's a standard port that you connect your standard USB cord that comes with the unit. When you turn it on, you'll get a couple of green light blinks. It's got it shows you the emulation mode that's in, because this new unit now supports a lot of different devices, including things like the Nintendo Switch, your iOS, like your iPhone. You can connect this to your iPhone and use it there. Steam Deck, a whole slew of other types of devices, because it supports 5 different emulation modes for the USB port. So it'll also work with a lot of your legacy systems like C64 Mini or Max, and some of the other Atari devices, consoles. Let me show you the configuration through iCodeHub, and then we'll connect some paddles and joysticks, so I can give you an overview of that as well. But once you get the device, what you want to do is you want to go to icodehub.icode.com. This is where you'll get all your firmware updates. You'll be able to configure the device, compete with others in games that are built into the system that I'll show you. So it just takes a few seconds. Just go ahead and register. It'll basically log you in through Google. Make sure you're using Chrome, because it won't work with Safari, because for configuration anyway, because it does need to communicate with your device on the USB port. So connect your USB device, the iCode device, to your computer. Go to icodehub.icode.com, and then once you've registered and you logged in, you'll notice here, I'm going to go ahead and connect, and I want to see the device here, and I'm going to say connect. And notice you'll see on the left side, these are your preset memory configurations. The ones that are color coded are 0 through 9 are the ones that are currently loaded on the device. Each of these configurations on the left can be modified here on the right. So for example, for this particular configuration here, I've configured it to be an Atari joystick or paddles. But if I go to this other one, which is number 5, you'll see that this one's configured for trackball for port 1, and port 2 is configured for either stick or a gamepad. So each of the ports can be configured independently. And then you also have the dual ultimate buttons. These are the buttons on the device itself. So if you go and click on buttons here, you'll be able to configure each of your buttons. So for example, the red button is configured to button 0 gamepad. And you can have 3 different actions. So you can have it be button 0, plus it can act like a left mouse click, for example, and it can press a keyboard for you. And you can say, okay, I want to press keyboard D. And it'll can send the D key to the keyboard, which is really nice. And you can clear these out if you don't want them. I'm going to go back to none here. So it does emulate keyboard, and it's easy to configure right on the site. So even the 5-way switch is configurable. So notice that it currently is configured to act like a gamepad and up, down, left, right. So that's really convenient as well. All right, let me show you some of these configurations. Let's start with a basic joystick one. I'm going to discard my changes. So we had these 10, but I forgot to mention also that you can have up to 100 different cards stored on the cloud. So when you connect, you can create new ones, new configurations, and it'll, for example, just added one, which is a new preset. And you can name your presets to whatever you like. This is my new one, for example. Okay, and I'm going to press save. So notice that it added it down here. And then if I want to load it onto one of my preset slots, I can just push, for example, I want to load it on slot 8 or 7. I can just click 7 and push save. Save, and then it'll save it to that slot. But I'm not going to save it for now. But that's how you can have as many pre-configures as you like. And as well as there are ways that you can even share these with other users or with our support team. We can help you remotely configure some of these if you have trouble. But let me just go back to the basics here. I'm going to discard these changes. I'm going to go to the first option, which was our Atari joystick and games. Notice that you see a little mouse here. It means I do have mouse reporting on the ports. K means keyboard is also enabled. If I want to map keys, I can. I don't have to, but it's at least enabled. In some situations, you want to turn these off for highest compatibility, like if you're connecting to a switch. Typically, switch doesn't like to see a mouse connected. So you would see like my Nintendo Switch doesn't have a mouse next to it. I've turned it off so that it has maximum compatibility. Okay, so let's talk about the Atari joystick. So simply you connect here. I've got, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit more. All right. I'm going to zoom out here. There we go. Okay, so I've got my joystick here. It's a standard, 9-pin joystick. I'm going to connect it to port 1, and notice when I move it around, it also shows on the display, so you can get instant feedback. As I push these buttons, you'll see it also tells you this is button B. If you've got like an Atari 7800 joystick, this is button A. So just like the fire button, it triggers those. You can remap them as we talked about. You can see on the left the little light that blinks tells you, hey, this is actually on port 1 currently. You can map these to port 2 as well, and you would see little lights on the right side instead of left side. The K tells you keyboard, orange means it's on standby mode. It's not really active yet, and same thing with mouse. So those are there as well. And then if I change to paddles, and I'm going to stick my paddles in now. Notice it'll automatically detect your paddles, and I've got two paddles on this one port now, these here. So this is my paddle B, and this is my paddle A. So both are now connected. Really good configuration for paddles. It's got state-of-the-art jitter control for paddles. So if you've suffered with jitter before, this device solves that jitter completely. Notice that I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the controls that we have for this configuration. When you go to paddles, you can have jitter control on different levels. If you've got really clean paddles, you can keep it on non, but it doesn't hurt to be on high. And then there's also jitter averaging on top of that. Because the CPU is so fast on this, it can scan 4 or 5, 6 times in 1 millisecond, less than a millisecond, and get multiple values to make sure that it's a very stable area. This is a really neat feature if you're used to the original Atari paddles on Atari consoles. Atari paddles only really on the console use just this portion of the paddle. Like if you moved all the way counterclockwise, this area was never used on Atari consoles. So it's really sensitive when you on Atari consoles, and people used to be able to just play by going like this. So you would play Breakout, and all you have to do is only spin this much to get full resolution, left and right on the screen. Well, this you can do the same thing. If you're on 60%, it's very similar to Atari console. If you're at 50%, it's even more sensitive. If you're at 100%, then it uses 100% of the cycle. So it gives you full resolution. And sometimes for some games that might be actually very cool. But by default, 70% seems to be the pretty good handle. To kind of give you a feel real quick, I'm going to show you here. I've got a kaboom up. So we'll go ahead and start kaboom game. Oops, I should have gone here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press, if I can figure out which paddles are my, oh, there we go. Okay, so here it is. Notice it's quite good. Okay, so my paddles are working great. Makes this game so much easier to use. So you can get the sense of how quickly you can go back and forth from the screen with very little, like I'm barely, just moving just a little bit, and I can completely control the paddle really nicely, which is great. And it's very stable paddle system. So that's the paddles. I'm going to go ahead and unplug, and I'm going to plug in a driving controller. So here's a driving controller, but in order to support driving, it can't auto detect that. So I'm going to go ahead and okay, my mouse got captured by the device. Okay, there we go. All right, in fact, I'm going to show you something really cool with the driving controller. So here's, for example, some Mammy spinner games. As soon as I pushed this button, did you notice that the screen refreshed automatically? So this was here, which was joysticks, and as soon as I go to Mammy, it automatically changed. So instead of me having to go through menu system and switch things, I can quickly do it on the browser. And now I'm on driving controller mode. So notice when I connected my driving controller, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. See two. Okay. So here's driving controller. So you can see I can keep spinning all the way around, and you can see it keeps going. And I can go the other direction. It spins in both directions. So which is kind of cool. Now what I've done here, I've also turned it on as a mouse. So if you look at my settings here, for this one is on driving right here, and my fire buttons are normal 0. I don't have rapid fire on, and then for keyboard it's off, but I've got my function as buttons only because I wanted to use mouse for the emulation, and I think mouse is automatic on here. It's interesting, but I can see my mouse working here, so you can see if I move, left and right with the thing, my mouse is actually moving on the screen, which is kind of cool. So let's do a Mammy game so you can see the mouse in action. So here I've got Arkanoid running, and we're going to go ahead and push start. Okay, so Mammy is going to require a mouse, so that's why we have to be in mouse mode. So now you can see as I move left and right, this is actually working pretty well. Ooh, a little bit too slow for me. I was slow. And you can turn on acceleration as well, and it can go really fast back and forth. But the Atari driving controller doesn't have too high of a resolution, but with the software emulation, it actually does pretty good, because you can even get across the screen pretty well. And there's some settings in Mammy as well that you can control. But that gives you an idea of that as well. Okay. There we go. All right. And then Trackball works really well. To demonstrate Trackball, I've got an idea. Let me show you some of the built-in mini games, and they're perfect for the Atari Trackball. Actually, I don't have my Trackball handy here. Okay. Well, then we'll have to resort to joystick. Let me put it back into joystick mode and connect my joystick up. I can use this little hat as well, but I'm going to go ahead and use the joystick just for the fun of it. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm going to go to the menu system. And there's shortcut keys for this. Like, for example, if I want to go to mini games, I know I just have to push yellow and menu, and it'll go to mini game. So I don't even have to go through the menu. But the second way is you can go to the menu and then go down to mini games and press, and then it'll go here. But there's all kinds of different short keys described in the manual that make things really fast to getting to different areas. So here's the menu system. There's 2 built-in mini games. More will be coming soon. You do have to register to unlock Iron Dome to go past level 1. And Iron Dome is a fabulous game. It's a Missile Command lookalike. You can play it with 3-button controllers if you have one, or Atari Joystick has just 1 button. So I'm going to go ahead and press the fire button here. So notice if I move the stick, I can control the little. I can't see here. A little hard to see for me, but you get the idea here. There we go. Really nice quality sound on the unit. Target neutralized. I love that. Okay, and as you progress, this game even has the spinner, the smart bombs that come down. I think at level 4. So here's my counts, and then it keeps track of your high scores. So make sure you play this game, and when you connect to iCodeHub, it'll upload your high scores, and then we give away monthly prizes to some of the winners on the leaderboards. So it's really cool. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna run out of ammo here. I got 5 ammo left. Oh, 0. It destroyed my ammo. Okay. Well, you guys get the sense here. And go ahead. Game over. I know. Oh, I have 3 cities left. All right. Well, we're not going to play the whole thing, but it's really fun game. Also, you've got here another game, which is Brick Bash, which is almost very similar to the Arkanoid game. So I'm going to go ahead and try to use my joystick. Yeah, you can use paddles with this as well, if you want. But, it's got a built-in little mini game, which is kind of cool. So you've got both a adapter, and then if you want to have some fun, just play a few games. You'll never get bored of these games. All right, so I think that kind of gives you an idea of some of the capabilities of this adapter. It also supports Coleco, which is the gamepad and the keypad, the Atari keypad, even the Coleco Super Action Controller. If you're familiar with that, that has extra buttons on the grip, as well as a little tiny spinner. So I remember we used to play baseball, and the little spinner was like so important on the top. So it even supports the Super Action Controller, including the spinner. So these are we just got 100 of these in the first batch, and they're almost all gone. I put the page up a few days ago, and more than half of them were taken like in 24 hours. I don't even know how people found the website, because I put it at the very bottom, so people don't see it until I do this video and we launch the product. But now it's going to be up on the icode.com website. You can place your pre-orders. We're probably going to run out of them quickly on this batch, but we're going to be trying to manufacture as quickly as we can, because these are going to be quite popular. And we'll release one batch at a time, probably every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, depending on how I can get the manufacturers to move quickly. We're going to put an introductory offer in. They're normally $59, but I think we're going to put them at $39, which is really good for the value for what you're getting out of this system. And there's a new Uno version of this coming out, which is a single port version, which is just going to be a little bit less, like $29, but it doesn't support Sega or Coleco. But so stay tuned on that. I'll probably do another video on that next week. So I hope you enjoy watching this, and we'll be doing a lot more videos that go in depth into paddles and jitter and trackball games and keypads and so much more. But this device is just a marvel, and I'm thrilled on how it turned out at the end. Thanks again. Leave some comments at the bottom, and I hope you have a great time. Take care.